everybody to El Salvador Positive News. My production team and myself, we would like to invite you to our program, El Salvador Positive News, because you know good things also happen in El Salvador, and we're going to be precisely in the positive channel of El Salvador, which is Channel 8. We're going to be with you every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. and every Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. And I would like to explain you why is it that we're doing this program in English. Because you know what? The most spoken language all over the world is English. That is why our program is in English. And we are El Salvador Positive News. I repeat, TV Channel 8, Mondays from 5 to 6, Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. So I'm inviting you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, El Salvador Positive News. Hope you're going to be with us Mondays and Saturdays. Until then, have a good one, everybody. Do you know that now we have electrical cars in El Salvador? Well, it's a reality. There are not so many. There are just a few. But everything has a beginning. There is a start, a beginning for everything. And I would hope that this is the beginning of electrical cars in El Salvador. Here's the story. According to CEPAL, the Economical Commission for Latin America, one of the economies that will grow the most in Central America is El Salvador. According to what they published, 5.0% of growth is a very positive one. We feel very happy for this. He arrived in Los Angeles, California in 1989. His name, Miguel Carranza. He started working very hard and getting to learn about food processing until he was able to open his own restaurant. It was then 1997. Slowly but surely, he learned the business. So in 2021, right in the middle of the most of COVID-19, when all places were closing, he was opening his second restaurant. Congratulations, Miguelito. Keep up the good work, and I am sure pretty soon you will be opening your third restaurant. Do you know that chocolate comes from a very popular tree in El Salvador? The cacao tree. It grows in almost all parts of the country. And nowadays its production is being promoted because USA and Europe chocolate producers have discovered that cacao grown in El Salvador produces a highly quality and very delicious chocolate. And now let's take a look to the very, very famous touristical place in our country, El Salvador, Surf City. And this is the magic of Surf City, where we are inviting you to arrive as soon as possible to enjoy this wonderful jewel in our country, El Salvador. In some of our beaches, it also takes place the production of salt. This is how it's done. Did you ever imagine that what you use to flavor your meals comes from a beach in El Salvador? Well, life is full of surprises. Salt from El Salvador. And you know, also within our program, we're going to have some segments which is called a friendly conversation at the Crown Plaza Hotel. Because we're going to have guests here, we're going to have people talking their stories and the things they do. But you know what? They are all going to be very interesting. So until then, have a good one, everybody. This is a friendly message to Max Kaiser. You know, welcome to the club. I've heard that you're going to start a program regarding good things in El Salvador. Fantastic. You know what? Just be sure you tell your audience who gave you the idea, okay? Way to go, Maxi. Keep up the good work, brother. Greetings from Crown Plaza Hotel in San Salvador. My production team and myself would like to invite you to our program El Salvador Positive News. We're going to be in Channel 8 every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. and every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. So remember, please follow us at El Salvador Positive News YouTube channel and also TV Channel 8, as I mentioned before. Have a good one, everybody. Welcome again, and now we have the segment of a friendly conversation at the Crown Plaza Hotel. Today we have an incredible guest, because you know what? Have you ever seen something that you have to say, wow, this is a dream come true? And the first time I visited the place, I said, my God, whoever created this, which was the brain that gave, birth to this? And the name of the place I'm going to give you after I present its creator and founder, Pedro López, who is with us. Hello, Pedro.
Much appreciate. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Pedro. And the name of the place is Volcatenango. Oh my God, it is a dream come true. But let's start from the beginning. Pedro, you were born in San Salvador.
Yes, Guanaco.
Guanaco, 100%. I love that. Yeah. So tell me, your father and mother, they are Salvadorians also?
They are Salvadorians, yes.
Okay. Where did you study, Pedro?
Well, once I finished my school, I went and pursue a military career. And then I started immediately as an Olympic swimmer.
But wait a minute, don't go so fast. Where did you study your primary?
My primary? Oh, it was in a British school here in El Salvador.
The question was, where did he learn English? So it's good English, okay?
Yeah, kind of British. I'm a bit rusty, but I think I can practice a little bit.
Okay, great. Okay, so after that you went to a military career, you said?
Yeah.
And then, okay. What about the tourism aspect? Where did you learn it?
Well, in the business part, I've always been learning from my parents, and I have a lot of friends that have become my mentors. Also my adopting parents But then again, I think through a lot of practice and dedication and studying, I've taught myself from people that are doing the right things about. Okay,
so you're a self-taught person.
I will consider that, yes.
Okay, wonderful. And you know what? Pedro has just received, and I have to read it with your permit, the Award of Business of the Year 2021 by the Program of Culture in Costa Rica. And there's another thing, a second thing that I have to mention, which is really, really impressive. He was interviewed by no less than Forbes magazine. Forbes, yeah, the big magazine worldwide. And he was introduced as the leader of tourism in Central America because of his Volcatenango activity, right? So when did this was given to you in Costa Rica or here in El Salvador?
The first award was given to me in Costa Rica by the bilateral program of culture that involves all Central America. It was, I think it was one of the biggest highlights in my career.
Oh, absolutely, I have no doubt. I mean, you're a very young man and with so many awards and things like that. But of course, we're going to be having the second segment dedicated totally to Volcatenango. But there are some things that I would, there's like a relation, of course. First, let me put it this way. Did you first bought the property, or you think about what was going to be the theme park, or how was it? How was the sequence of this?
Well, part of what is Volcatenango was our house. So I pretty much lived all my childhood there. I've managed to have the culture of our family values right deep into the roots of Volcatenango. For example, we love a lot nature, and we have a lot of plants and gardens, and we try to keep it the most green we can, which I think is magical. Well, once you go to Linda Vista, you can see the amazing gardens and all the floral architecture we have been doing. And also the musician part, the artistic part, is a special thing in my family. So I wanted to keep that. It's actually one of the most important things in Volcatenango. And there's more about the family-like involvement, and I think it's important to have this kind of values especially in El Salvador, that I think it needs culture, but it also needs to show what's beautiful about tourism around the world.
And you know, precisely, Pedro, this program was originated by that, the need to be presenting worldwide the positive things of our lovely country. And when Pedro talked about, you know, nature and trees, I don't know if he forgot to mention, but you're going to see some absolutely beautiful dogs that he has in his property. And it's the famous Beethoven, or, you know, German pronunciation. But those beautiful dogs he has at Volcatenango, they are really something. Okay, so now that you've been telling me about the nature and everything in the property, when did you start thinking about the possibility of creating a theme park there?
Well, at some point I always thought about that place as a magical theme park. I have the privilege to travel around the world, see how Disney works, see how a lot of touristic places in Europe work. So I say, let's just mix this up and make it available for El Salvador. And once we try that, we try to give it a responsibility, an important responsibility, a mission, if you may. The mission is to portray how important is and how special is the art in El Salvador, and combining the attractions, the magical tourist side, with the infrastructures, with the gardens, and with the attractions and everything.
The rest of the
the whole holistic experience is what Volcatenango is about.
Have you ever been, let's say, in Disney World, studying inside the infrastructure there?
I have studied the business models of the most famous theme parks
within the theme park. In other words, you were like a student inside those big...
not like a student, but as a businessman that wants to analyze all the risk and try to develop all the opportunities and potentialize like this untapped potential that I think Disney still has some untapped potential.
Okay. I had the honor and the privilege of meeting your dad during one of my visits to Volcatenango. I suppose that he has been very open and supportive of your idea, naturally, right?
Yes, I think he was pretty much really open with me. He gave me a lot of opportunity. He had to teach me a lot of the things I respect until now, which I'm really grateful. We share a lot of our common philosophy as men to men, and I believe that once I started to gain his confidence business-wise, he opened more and more knowledge for me, and he always helped me to push me in a hard way.
As it should be.
He is a disciplined man.
Absolutely. I don't know, I think you should know the Hillstone story, you know. The founder, he put his sons to know all the aspects of the hotel business, you know, starting from bellboy to manager. But his sons have to go through all those steps, so I imagine it must be the same with you.
Well, not that much, because part of the tourism is I build it, but when we started in the core business, the construction company, the financial world, yes, he taught us a lot, and we started from the bottom. Actually, when we were children, we had like this piece of garden each one of my brothers, and we have to take care of it. It was not allowed to make any kind of failure in your garden.
Are you kidding?
Yes, and he also taught us how to construct. To some point, when we were children, he taught us how to manage around with tools, wood, and from like building tree houses to normal houses and all kind of crazy
I'm
things.
really impressed. So he gave you a piece of land, and you were supposed to be responsible for whatever, you know. That's wonderful. That's why you have the big capacity of building all this wonderful.
He's a fan of multitasking, and he was a fan of teaching us to be really independent since we were really kids.
What happened with the military academy? You were telling me that you finish it, or
Yeah, I finished part of it. My program I finished. I actually wanted to get more involved, but then I have a change of mind between the way, which it's interesting how things work out. And back then I knew the military was going to give me a lot of discipline. So it was one of the things I was actually really fond about, excited about. Then again, now I know what it gave me more than that. Apart from discipline, which is good, it gave me a really strong mentality, which is pretty unique when in executives or when you want to go into the business world and just try to be as much as disruptive as you can and innovative and creative as you can, but at the same time, really methodic in that way. So I think it was a really good school to increment all my values.
Going back to your British school time, I imagine with all technology available nowadays, you do keep friendships with everybody, right? All your friends, there's the group still around?
There was a point where I just went my own way and I couldn't keep in touch with most of my friends. Nowadays, I've actually been trying to keep in touch with my childhood friends.
Return to the good old
and
days.
It's fun. I think it's something necessary.
Absolutely, because it's, it helps you to see what is it that you've been doing, what your friends been doing, but more important, how can you, get together and help each other to build whatever can be done, right? That's wonderful. So, my goodness, well, now all I have to ask you regarding your personality, because you're such a young man that there's not too much time, space to ask you for. But what about the countries you've been visiting regarding the theme parks that you visited?
Well, let's talk about the main one being Disney. I think it's important if we see the way of the business model of Disney. It's people often confuse and they think it's the mechanical part of Disney that think that it has a good pool, even though it has an amazing pool of generating revenue and all, but it's not as special when you combine that with the creativity part. So when you talk about Mickey Mouse, for example, how they made a Mickey Mouse from the beginning, the structure they gave him, and how it has been evolving through time, and now you can have it in t-shirts, and then you can have it in the movies, and maybe not movies, but just conference, and then you can educate the Mickey way of life, Mickey philosophy, and try Mickey with a magical suit and try another with a business suit, and people can relate around the world and they can see Mickey evolving. So once you combine this with mechanical attractions or just the business side of it as well, or even food, the Mickey Mouse, cookies, I think you're creating these imaginations that is necessary. I think it's vital for kids to let their imagination flow. Absolutely. The younger they are, the more they should, because it means they will have an easier life in the future once they feel free to flow their imagination.
Tell me something, do you have any friend relation with any of the executives at Disney? My question is, because of this. Have they ever visited you at Volcatenango, or is there any friendship relation with any of them?
I've had a business relationship with them, and yes, they have visited Volcatenango. To some point, we've been talking to make projects together. I think the future for Disney is to be more present in Latin American countries.
Oh, that's great. Well, I told you it was going to be a
Which I don't think, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that actually.
What?
I will just apologize that Disney thing.
Oh no, please feel free. No.
Yeah,
this
we
is
can
a
keep it a
no,
secret.
absolutely. You can say any word or any trademark or anything you want. This is a fantastic and free program. I told you it was going to be a fantastic and interesting interview, right? So give us just a few seconds. We're going to be right back. Don't move now. I'll see you then. We continue now with a fantastic conversation, because remember, this is a friendly conversation at the Crown Plaza Hotel. And today with us, Pedro López, creator and founder of a dream come true, as I mentioned it, as I call it, Volcatenango. Okay, Pedro, now we're going to talk about the jewel of the crown, Volcatenango, okay? Do you remember any specific year when you started saying, oh, I'm going to create this thing, I'm going to make this thing? Any specific year, or you can't remember?
Well, since I was, I would say pretty much in around 2015, 2017, I was pretty much already talking about the idea of it. I always thought of Volcatenango as a theme park and fantasy place, but more in the business model. I started in 2018, I think, to try to analyze the idea of having it.
Okay, now here we go. For our viewers, I want you to, let's go step by step, like this, for example. I have the idea. It took me 2 years, I write down and make numbers, etc. Then this is what I want you to do right now. So it was, you said 2017?
2018.
18, okay. You start visualizing this thing.
This is quite interesting because I promise to be genuine and honest, even though the idea of it was around 2017-18, I think, 2018 maybe. In 2019, when we opened at the end of the year the theme park for the first time, it only took us 4 months of planning.
Really?
Yes.
I'm sure that you've been in Volcatenango, and if you haven't, you will. I'm inviting you to visit. It's a dream place. But what you're going to be seeing will surprise you. This is why I want you to stop with you in details. That's why you have the idea how long it took you to build the first parts of it.
It took us 4 months.
4 months.
Yes.
And then you were able to open.
Yeah.
So to say,
pretty
to
much.
the public.
4 months we had we found the funding, we have the business model planned to every detail, and we execute everything.
Okay, now here is the question regarding the physical aspect. How many persons were there building this? I imagine that it must be a company, a Salvadoran company, or what?
In the literal part of building, yes, our construction company is in charge of making the scenography. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Scenography? Yeah. And also the structural part as well. But if you're talking also business and administrative wise, I have a really strong commercial team that is also in charge of it.
Yeah.
Through business intelligence, we make the decisions, and we are pretty agile. I'm more, if I were to say what's the magical part of El Salvador in the business world, is that we're fast. We're fast.
Okay, but I'm sorry to insist on this, but it's like, I have the idea. Did you get any consultants with you? Or the point is that you created a theme park, a fantastic place, a dream one. And who told you, okay, you can put this in here? Because also the land is a bit, it's not flat, you know, so you have to be thinking what you're going to put in what places.
No consultants. I did got education, and I follow advices from people before the 4 months planning, but no consultants, because I knew from the beginning it was going to be the work of culturizing the people on a concept they don't know yet. And Disney cannot give me this knowledge. No consultant can give me this type of knowledge for El Salvador. It will have to be pretty much a 2-year work only to be able to consult that part. I did
you
put that aside and just.
It's like when we started the program, okay? If we're going to start asking, everyone is going to tell you a different story, a different idea. Let's do it. Yes. Now, in those 4 months, what parts of the theme park you created, physically speaking?
So we created the brand, the brand of Volcatenango.
Physically speaking, okay. What parts of the theme park you created? The castle, I don't know.
Okay, so in that part we had already the gardens. Okay. We make the scenography for all the gardens in the complex. Once we made that, we started introducing the characters and the magical part, the human part, if you may. And once we had that, we just started putting the business side of it.
And the detail. I see you insist in business, and I understand why. Because it's been such a huge investment that you have to know where is it going to come from, the money.
Yes, well, you need to realize is that Volcatenango is not our main business. It's not about money, actually, not this business, because Volcatenango is about respecting our family legacy of the art world and trying to be the best we can in El Salvador and Central America, and to everyone in the world who wants to appreciate El Salvador as a country. It was more about that. Once we have all the emotional part, once we have the meaningful part, then we had to do also the hard part, which is how do we make this profitable.
Yeah. My goodness, I'm really impressed. Now, within all this story, when do the little dogs, which are very famous and very, you know, it's an image of Volcatenango. How did they appear, these beautiful dogs that I'm going to show the images of them in a few seconds?
Well, the dogs were part of the family, most of them, and we've always tried to introduce more and more dogs to be part of our family. I think even when this was not a business, we were surrounded by dogs. I think they were even more animals back when it was just a house, because we just loved animals and we loved the idea of having them. I like to think when I was a child, my best friend was actually a dog. So yes, that's always been so. Most of the things you're gonna see in Volcatenango, as I mentioned, is me trying to rescue and honor most of our family values, which I appreciate because it is what I am today.
This is really impressive. Now, tell me something regarding I insist in the physical structure because to me it's so impressive. What are your plans right now? What are you other things that you are building within the theme park? Because I remember that I visited you about 2-3 years ago, I guess, and you were building this big complex to make, because that's another part I want you to tell our audience, the businesses that you have within. I mean, you can get married there, there's all of these details, right?
Yes.
So how many other places are you still thinking of to create inside Volcatenango?
Well, inside this complex, it's non-stop, I will say. And not. I wouldn't use the word places. I will use the word, the ecosystem we're trying to build. It should be innovating time to time. It's one of the. It is one of the undeniable responsibilities of every theme park. So it's more attitudinal. When you want to build a theme park, you know you have to innovate constantly. And innovating must be like improving the artist's point of view, also some structural point of view. So now we have the venue part, which will now have like these amazing productions. We try to honor more musicians, Salvadorian musicians, and as well international musicians, and put them all in the mix.
I'm going to show you within this conversation a video of the Christmas celebration inside Volcatenango. Because you know what? Volcatenango is nowadays, it's a case study for the tourist world. And of course, the best person to explain us this is Pedro, because inside the infrastructure there's a hotel, and there are many different places and parts that I'm asking you please to explain us right now.
Sure thing. So the reason Volcatenango is a case study around the world because it's one of the fastest growing companies in the tourism, and the know-how we have, the knowledge we've acquired, thanks to the responsibilities we've assumed, is something you cannot acquire in pretty much any other tourist complex in Central America. It is, once we compete, we're competing with probably public project, governmental tourism projects, and the private sector, one private sector competing with public billion-dollar funds of other tourists is something, well, that you need to, that people is just turning their face around and saying, okay, they're doing something right. So the thing we're doing right is actually, we're pretty fast as well, and we are pretty receptive of our consumer, Salvadoran consumer, our international consumer, what they want to see in El Salvador. And it's, once we know that, we try to execute it in the fastest way as possible.
I see that it's easy for me to understand when I say Volcatenango is a case study, and I can visualize many Salvadorans, young people attending the place to learn how to, deal with hotel guests, etc., restaurants, etc. But I'm going to ask you something. Suppose someone from Buenos Aires would like to visit you and have a study in situ, right, in the place. How would he go? Naturally, he would contact you first, and how many months or weeks would he be available to visit you, or how?
Well, how this happened is that we're pretty open to tell our business model to pretty much everyone that wants to do it. It's because, and we're not afraid actually of any kind of competition. I think in the tourist world, the more tourism you have, the better for everyone, and especially in El Salvador. So when someone from out this country wants to come and wants to know more about, they usually meet with me. I tell them what's about. I've also gone to other countries and they have asked for my help to improve the tourism of this type of country, from Guatemala to a lot of Central American countries.
I'm going to ask you something very interesting, very, very interesting from the academic point of view. Have you ever structured like a study program? Okay, let's the financial thing, the physical thing, the security things. Have you ever structured such thing?
Yes. Even though I'm a huge fan of the instinct administration and the instinct commercializing of things, in order to be fast, in order to have and acquire that instinct, it needs to have the discipline and structural part. So everything from the business model, from our marketing strategies, from our commercial strategies, and the timing Volcatenango, the timing of the innovations we're trying to introduce in Volcatenango, everything is not only written, but it's also measured through time.
Absolutely, because for example, I'm a very academical related person, and I would ask myself, okay, now wait a minute, to get the knowledge of this, it would take me 2 or 3 weeks, and then to get the knowledge of, let's put it in a hotel, for example, okay? The administration part is this, the food part is another, the restaurant, it will require such and such many weeks, so that's why I was asking you, especially, what about when you get people from El Salvador, let's put it the other way around. In San Salvador, do you get students from a university, for example, or from the public schools, or how do you go with this?
I do talk often in university or educational institutions. Either I think they most of the things they want to know is about my personal life and growing as a businessman and the companies I've made, and also the Volcatenango side, which is quite popular as well. So once I've when I go, I think it's one of the biggest, the most things I'm grateful about is that I have the advantage to be talking with adults and being able with really huge businessmen in the financial world, the construction company, the tech world as well, or the tourism world. And at the same time, I can be with people my age that are pretty much, I think, in university, finishing their studies and or starting their studies in whichever sector. So I can go from side to side, and it's one of the most things I'm grateful for.
Because you know what, when you have a winner like Pedro López, everyone wants to be like him, and you start asking him, where did you get the magic? But I'm going to tell you something. He has been mentioning the word values, and values is very important. So effort, you have to struggle for this, you have to learn, you have to study, and then you have to invest time and effort. So Pedro, it has been an honor talking with you, and I hope you felt it was a friendly conversation, right?
It was actually, and I admire your work, everything you've done for the environment. It's amazing as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you, and I'm sure I'm going to be seeing you next week. Remember, Mondays from 5 to 6, and Saturdays from 1 to 2. Channel 8, which happens to be the positive channel of El Salvador. So I'll be seeing you then. Have a good one, everybody. Until then.